Why Not? A queer podcast.
Thank you to our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today at 407-553-6336 and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together.
They're still here. They're still queer. Are you used to them yet?
Join the Orlando Gay Chorus for an unforgettable evening as they celebrate 35 fabulous years of harmony and inclusivity with their special 35th anniversary concert, A Choral Kaleidoscope.
Friday, May 16th at the Ritz Theater in Sanford, or on May 28th at the Steinmetz Hall at Dr. Phillips Center.
Tickets at orlandogaychorus.org/shows.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to
Why Not? A queer podcast.
Episode 118. Ooh.
It sure is.
I was fighting down gas as that we were doing that intro, and I was like, not yet, not yet.
You're fighting it on the upstairs.
Yeah. It's making its way to the downstairs.
If you were if it does, we need a 3-minute warning.
All right. I'll get a fan in here.
We'll pause everything.
We'll blow it that way. So yeah, episode 118. Here we are.
I know, and we're a little late. We're probably going to get through this one pretty quickly because
yeah. We had we're used to doing them early because when something comes up, but you had some meetings today, so we're actually starting late, and we don't want to. Let half the staff work past 5 o'clock, so we're going to get through this.
Caitlin walks out the door at 5. So if we do this, if we don't stop recording before then, it's just going to record all night. So it's going to be like a 23-hour.
Ooh, like a live stream. We'll do like a live 24-hour stream, and we won't go to sleep until we raise $40.
Hey, if that happens and this ends up being like a 12-hour podcast, what I need you to do, if you're listening, is when it gets to be about hour 4, just start, like yelling into the camera or something, or Luis is on a thing. So Luis, just keep your teams on and just yell into it and scare the cleaning people.
Yeah.
Those are my new favorite things to watch, or jump scares videos.
Oh, really?
God, I love them. I hate it. If somebody does it to me,
yeah, I was going to say, I don't like jump scares.
I don't like jump scares, but I love to watch other people get scared.
You know what my favorite thing to watch is lately? Karen's getting their comeuppance.
Oh, I can't.
I love it. They're like so whiny. I'm like, listen, put the camera down and punch her in the face. No one's going to care. And then the cops arrest her and throw her in. She's like, what are you doing? My kids are home alone.
Did you like the one where the Karen that interrupted some sort of rally and a really big guy just got up and decked her?
I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen this?
No, I got to look that up.
I think it was at a gay rights rally or something, and she was screaming or yelling, and he walked up like more casual than Will Smith walked up to Chris Rock and then hit her like Will Smith hit Chris Rock.
I'll have to watch that on my own because that shit is my porn. I love that shit.
Oh my God, if only that could be the title of this episode. That shit is my porn. Speaking of really exciting things. Speaking of shit and porn. Wow, right off the bat too. Another great episode of Wonderful Language for the family. It's our 118th.
Yes.
So do you have any cool facts about the number 118?
Calm down. I have facts.
I got a really good one.
Some of them might be cool. I hope I didn't steal your cool one, because this one was.
You've got one that's interesting, and if you did, you stole it. But you'll never get my cool one. If you get my cool one, then you're cooler than I thought.
Oh, all right. No, I just thought this was interesting. That in the year 118 AD, the oldest that's the year that they had the oldest known painting depicting a wheelbarrow. I just thought that was really interesting. They found it in a Chinese tomb. And it's the oldest known painting of a wheelbarrow, was painted in the year 118. Yeah.
You were right. You do have facts.
Yeah. Same year, Rome's population exceeded 1 million, making it the largest city in the world.
I'm going to want to know what this wheelbarrow looked like. Was it just like a box with a circle on it and like two sticks coming out? Like, it couldn't have been sophisticated.
Why?
Was it like Impressionism? In 118?
In 118 AD, sure.
Oh, that's true.
118 years after Jesus was born, and look at all the paintings of him.
Oh, I don't know.
Which I believe are historically accurate.
I don't know her. I'm gonna say this though about hospitals. I know are places and people need comfort, and that's great that they're there. But I've been to. I won't name it. I'll just say that it's the hospital that a friend of ours got their education at.
Yeah.
Those cannot be accurate depictions of Jesus. There's just no way those are accurate. Anyway,
a quick Google search. I don't know if this is it. But if it is a picture of a very obese man with his gut in the wheelbarrow, wheeling his giant gut around.
Now, that one was made in 120 AD.
I thought that looked familiar.
They didn't get fat until 120.
What else do I got? 118 is the name of a Singaporean drama that ran for 255 episodes from October 2024 to October 2015. In 1 year, they did 255 episodes. It was like a daily.
You mean 2014 to 2015?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. I was like, they went backwards in time?
They did
That's
like
some memento shit right there.
A daily episode. And it was followed up by a spin-off series. I bet you can't guess the name of the spin-off series. 118 Part 2. And then
these are some really good writing skills here in the name.
Followed up the following year by the final series, 118 Reunion. The title comes from the show's lead, Hong Da-ming, who is given the nickname of 118 by the people around him because that is the address number for both his home and a coffee shop he owns. And in this little town, whenever someone is in need, they always seek out Da-ming or 118 to ask for help.
I think we should take Hong's lead. The next episode of this is going to be called 118 Part 2.
I like that.
And then Part 3 and Part 4. And then we'll get and that way we can start going back to our list of directors and getting the first place and second place. I'm going to
get all of those now. Score.
You're going to get this one. I have faith in you that you'll get these. I've got some good hints for you.
The other 118 I have, not to be confused with the TV show, an Indian action film about a journalist who frequently dreams of a missing girl while staying at a hotel, you guessed it, in room 118. He starts to unravel a mystery as he begins his search
Did you guess that,
for
Caitlin?
the missing girl.
Oh, good for you.
And then the last one I got, which is my favorite, Code 118 Wallet. It is a sleek RFID blocking wallet built to streamline the way you carry cash and cards. It is available for $39.95 at Code Wallet's website.
It sounds like they should have paid for that commercial.
I know. It's a kind of a cool look. I don't own it, but it's kind of a cool looking wallet. And it stops people from, I don't know, Terminator scanning you. I don't know exactly
what they do? They take the little thing and they scan you and they steal your credit card number?
Yeah. So this wallet will prevent them from doing that. So,
and you don't have that wallet?
No, I have the 117, which is kind of flawed. But I'm going to get the 118 for $39.95. That's all I got. Like I said, 118 wasn't full of a lot of fun facts.
Well, speaking of the 118, this is my cool fact. I'm going to actually get back to this one because I think it's cool. We'll do that last. Did you know that the U.S. dime has 118 ridges along its edge?
I did not.
Now you do.
All right.
There you go. Trivia question for you there. And then, okay, so here we go. The 118th best film of all time. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll give you some hints. It is a 1986 weird movie.
A 1986 weird movie?
Weird movie. Let's see. I could give you some people that were in it. Yeah. I mean, I recognize that Dean Stockwell was in it just because I love Dean Stockwell because he played Al on Quantum Leap.
Married to the Mob? No, that was like 89.
No, this is sort of like think Twin Peaks kind of thing. So it's that weird thing and it has that guy in it, Kyle MacLachlan.
Twin Peaks.
And who else is in it? Isabella Rossellini. David Lynch directed.
Oh, Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I knew you'd get it with some clues. And then the 118th best director of all time.
David Lynch.
Won an Academy Award for Oliver. Also known for Odd Man Out and The Fallen Idol.
I don't.
shares a name with the movie that we're going to be talking about later.
Carol Channing.
Carol Reed.
Yeah, I know.
You were
that.
close. You got
Close.
half of it right. So congratulations. But the really cool thing,
Yeah.
the 118.
Yeah.
That's the firehouse in 911, which is not a CBS show that I'm obsessed with. It's an ABC show that just killed off.
That's the one you said
Captain
was really
Bobby
cool.
Nash. It is cool. It was not a question.
That is cool. That is a cool fact.
It's a cool fact. It's the
I'm
118.
sorry, your dime fact was way cooler.
You just like money more than first responder shows.
It's true. You could have stopped at shows. I kid. I love the first responders.
Cheers. So, how was your week? What'd you do? Anything exciting?
No, not a whole lot. I think I mentioned this last week. I'm having a yard sale this weekend. So it's this Saturday, and I have been jumping through hoops to get things set up for that. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but if you live in unincorporated Orange County, you have to apply for a permit to have a yard sale. So
How did you find this out?
my management office, the rental management office, I emailed her and said, hey, does the HOA or the owners have an issue with me doing a yard sale? Because I didn't want to do a yard sale and then them get an HOA fine, be like, you're not on the designated days. So she said, no, but unincorporated Orange County requires a permit. So I called over to Orange County, and sure enough, $15 for a permit to have a yard sale in your own
take
yard.
money from anywhere.
Not only that, but if you want to put signs up saying you're having a yard sale, each sign needs to have a decal on it. And each decal is $4.95. So I got 2 decals and a permit. I am already out $25 for a yard sale I haven't even had yet.
Are you going to make $25?
Oh, yeah. I'll make at least $25. I got some good shit.
That's some crazy stuff. I will tell you that I used to live in unincorporated Orange County, and I have had many yard sales, and I have never. Wait,
Yeah,
what's
I
the
don't know
statute of limitations on this? I don't want to admit
And
to
this
anything.
might be a newer thing. I don't know. I've only done one other yard sale in this city, and that one was in
What,
city
like
limits.
some city official was driving through a neighborhood, and we're like, there's 8 garage sales going on. We're missing an opportunity here.
Probably,
Let's charge
yeah.
them.
But I didn't want to risk it because it's $50, a $50 fine if you are having an unauthorized yard sale, and if you have a sign out, it's like $30
And
per sign.
some
fine.
nosy neighbor is going to call and be like, they're having a yard sale,
I'm
and
sure
I don't
there's
see a
a city
decal
person
anywhere.
on every Saturday morning driving around looking for non-decaled signs. But it is what it is.
You should have photocopied the decal and then just go put it on signs that don't have it.
It's like a shiny. It's like the decal they give you to put on your license plate. It's like a shiny sticker you have to attach to each sign. It's so obnoxious.
Doesn't that sound like it costs more than $4?
Yeah,
Is this
unless they
efficient?
just steal those.
Where's Doge? Is this efficient?
I think they call it Foge here. Doesn't Florida have their own?
Foge.
Doge?
That sounds like fake Doge. Foge. It's Fauxe.
But I got my pet permit and I got my decals and I'm all set. So for those who are in unincorporated Orange County, if you go on Facebook and Google yard sale Hickory Grove or Hickory Cove, mine is this Saturday. I got furniture, I got Blu-rays, I got books, I got action figures, Funko Pops, Lego, kitchen stuff, lamps, tables, hats, flags,
I think that you should have to pay
neckties,
$15 for that commercial.
shoes, all kinds of crap.
So do you have pictures of all this stuff on your Facebook thing?
If you go to the event, there's pictures all
and
up
you have it
on there.
pre-sold? Do you have a buy now price?
I haven't put the prices up yet. I might throw those up tonight. But I have 2 floor lamps that were my mom's that she has given me permission to sell. And a drag queen has already spoken for those.
I'm impressed with you, Jeremy, that you ask permission. And I would never have thought to ask if the HOA cared. I wouldn't care. I would just yell at the Karens that came up.
Yeah, I like to look out for people. More so, I mean, the people who own the house, they've been nice. I mean, we pay them, but they haven't been dicks about anything. So I was like, I don't want to hit somebody with an HOA fine. I just like to know that everything's on the up and up that I'm doing. So, but yeah, so yard sale. Basically just been prepping for that, digging out closets, putting little stickers
That's a lot
on
of
things.
work, right?
Yeah, particularly with everything. We're selling a bunch of shit. So
What time's your garage sale start?
7 a.m. to 2 p.m.
What are you going to do when people show up at 6:30?
Everything, I've already got a system set up. Everything, because my garage is empty. And the things out of my garage are actually most of the stuff that I'm selling. So everything will be set up in the garage, and the garage door is not going up until 7 a.m. So you can stand out front as early as you want, pop a tent, bring some coffee, get your place in line, because I have Disney stuff, I have Universal stuff, I have so much crap that I'm getting rid of, and it can be yours for the low, low price of next to nothing. I am also taking Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. So
Yeah, that's helpful.
yeah.
That is helpful. So I'm going to have a garage sale at some time soon over the next couple of months. And tell me if you think this is going to work for me.
Okay.
Because I hate having garage sales.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a sign that says, "Do not step into my yard until 7 a.m. And anybody who does, because I don't have the luxury, I'm going to have so much stuff. I need the whole yard to do it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have different like stickers. And so I'll be like, oh, this is the early bird sticker. And they all get a sticker. And whoever has the early bird sticker, they can't buy anything. They can walk around and they can try, but whoever's taking the cash, you can't sell anything to them. And then they'll just tell them after an hour, sorry, I can't sell it. And then there's going to be a big sign that says CarMax rules, no haggling, price is priced.
Yeah.
I hate it when people come in. I told you that story about Jen. She listened to it the other day and laughed, and she's like, I'd rather burn it in front of you than break a quarter.
I mean, I think most people go into yard sales knowing that people are going to come and try to haggle you over a quarter. But, it's part of the fun.
That is not fun. I will spend a lot of time coming up with an accurate price for each item.
Yeah, yeah.
Like let's say that I have because I've got a lot of clothes that I can't wear anymore.
Yeah.
So like my idea is to like sell all of them and just like every garment, $2, whatever it is, a pair of shorts, a shirt, whatever, that all cost like, way more than that. And that barely got worn. So some things even have like the tag still on them. So I'm just going to say like, that's $2.
Yeah.
And if somebody's like, I'll give you $1 for it. No, it's $2. If you don't have $2, you don't need these shorts because you obviously can't afford to go anywhere to wear them.
Yeah. We won't have a lot of clothes to sell. I find it weird to sell clothes at a yard sale.
I'm with you, but we made this decision. I made this decision yesterday because we were talking about it all, and I said, you know what? Like, why give all of everything away?
Yeah.
If you can,
if you can get someone to buy it,
right?
yeah.
If I can sell like, we're talking a lot of clothes, like 2 dressers in a closet full of clothes that I cannot wear. So even if I could make $100 on selling all of it, why not? Anyway.
Yeah.
I just I'm obviously should not be in charge of the garage sale.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just take a step back. Or at least I shouldn't be the person that collects the money.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotcha. I understand.
I'll let Jen do it. She can be bossy.
I'm more of a personal, friendly person, so I can usually say very nicely, it's going to be $1. I'm not going to take.
What do you think? I'm going to yell at them?
Yeah, I do.
Jen's the one who yelled at them. It's $1. Like no, that's nice.
It's $6.59. Get the fuck out of here. Nothing
How
for
about
you.
this? They'll say I'll give you $1 for it, and I say, why don't you do this? Why don't you wait? In 1 week, go to Goodwill and you can give them $10 for it.
Yeah.
Or you can give me the $2 now. See? That's nice.
Sure. All right.
I'm a nice guy.
So yeah, yard sales happening. Oh, we did something this past week. We went and saw The Lion King.
We did.
Dr. Phillips
It was
Center.
a big to-do.
It sure was. So generally, the folks over at Dr. Phillips, they give us a pair of tickets to see the Broadway shows that come into town. Very gracious of them. But it's usually, you go there, we pick up the tickets, we grab a drink, and then we go watch the show. But they had a big hoopla in the beginning, about an hour before the show started, where we went in and we got to meet some of the cast, and they gave us a nice little souvenir for our time, or we got to pick from a souvenir table.
Oh, there was a lot of, it was some cool stuff.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. There were like umbrellas, and there were and then like water bottles, and
T-shirts,
then but you got a
hats.
cool thing.
I got a little Simba ornament.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of Simba ornaments. So
I went with the umbrella for a very specific reason that I'm not going to get into yet. But I will say we got to meet like people on staff that we hadn't met before, and they were really, really nice. But I want to tell this thing that cracked me up, right? Yeah. So for those who don't know this, I used to live in New York. So from 1998 till 2001, or the big January of 2002, I lived in New York. And I had a lot of really cool jobs while I was there. But the last job that I had was working for the Lion King on Broadway. So I was was a travel coordinator, and I was assistant to the associate producer, which was really cool. One of the cool things I got to do at that job was sit in on all of the production meetings and take notes, which was a really kind of cool thing. But I also did all the travel for like Julie Taymor and Lebo M, like the people who created it that were flying all over the place. And so it was really kind of a cool thing. So when we go to this thing, there's this really lovely person behind the counter saying, oh, you can take this, you can take this. And we were the only people there.
Yeah.
And so we got into a conversation with her, and I was like, oh, because you told her something, and she got really excited about what you guys were talking about. And then I was like, oh, I used to work for the Lion King on Broadway. Crickets. Great. She didn't give a shit. She was like, okay. Did you want an umbrella? Which
nice
made me
story,
laugh.
Grandpa.
It
Here's
made
an
me laugh
umbrella.
so hard because I was like, oh, yeah, she didn't care. Nah, it was fine. I mean, it was a long time ago, so it didn't matter. Yeah. The most exciting thing to her about that story was that at the 4-year anniversary party where I got this really cool hoodie that had 4-year anniversary on the sleeve, it was the same night. It was at Madame Tussauds. It had just opened in Times Square. And it was the same night as the series finale of Star Trek Voyager. And I was way more interested in going home to watch that because I didn't have the recording devices. We were watching them live. So, I mean, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool story.
All right, nice. Great
so what did
story,
you think
but you
of the line? Tell everybody like how long it's in town and all that good stuff.
Oh, yes. So it is in town through May 18th at the Walt Disney Theater at the Dr. Phillips Center. Tickets available at drphillipscenter.org.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But it's I think it's the second
shows.
the second or third time that I've seen this show. You've probably have seen it way more than that.
Do you know what's funny about that is they actually had like the production had to pay Disney Theatrical for me to go see it. So they did send like everybody who works there goes to see it once. But this you're talking like when it was very hard to get a ticket.
Yeah.
And so they had to pay for me to go and sit there. And it was really cool because I was on an aisle seat and the elephant stepped on me.
Oh, all right.
It didn't hurt.
It's cool to be stepped on by an elephant. It wasn't a real elephant.
But it was pretty cool. Yeah, so it's your third time that you'd seen it.
Sorry, I feel like I have this long stray nose hair that's just tickling me, and I don't know if it's from the nostril
all the way around your face,
or if it's the mustache. But it's driving me crazy. I don't do coke. That's not what this is. So,
me either, girl. Me either.
We went and saw The Lion King. I thought it was a lovely show. For starters, I just want to say, I think this is a great show for people who are not big Broadway musical people. I feel like it's a good starter musical. It's, it's a familiar show. It's Disney.
Like Cats.
Oh.
Like people, like they go and see it and they feel like they have to say that they liked it because they feel like that's a thing people like. But no, Cats sucked.
No, Cats is awful. But this, I feel, it's kid-friendly, very family-friendly. So I think it's a good starter show.
If you don't bring your kids.
The puppets are cool, but Lion King's not like my favorite Disney movie. So it's like an okay story. So I'm not like dying. It wasn't like knocking down walls. I was like, oh, I've got to see this show. But, I'm glad that we went and saw it. It was a lovely show. The puppets are really cool.
Yeah, I do have to say that the highlight of seeing The Lion King is just the brilliance of Julie Taymor, who was the director and sort of the inspiration behind the puppets and all that stuff. And one of the really, like, if you haven't seen it, or if you have, you can relive this moment with me. One of the really cool things is in that opening, and it happens a couple of times. Like the best thing about The Lion King musical is Circle of Life.
Yeah.
It's pretty spectacular. But there's a leopard. Is that-
Cheetah.
A cheetah. And so, with the puppetry, it's like the person's body kind of becomes the puppet at some point. So like the legs of the cheetah are clearly like part of the puppet, but it's the back, like the legs of the person working the puppet are the hind legs of the cheetah. Yeah. And then she's got these sticks that have the front legs on it. And then there are wires that go from her head to the head of the cheetah. So when the actress like turns her head, the cheetah's head turns, and it's just this really cool, like really slow, methodic movement that's just really kind of cool. Like that kind of thing makes it a really good show, a really cool thing to see. And The Circle of Life is amazing. Yeah. And and then after that, it's The Lion King. Yeah. So if you really like The Lion King, this is one of
my critiques with it. It's The Lion King with like these musical dance interludes between the scenes because it's a 90-minute movie, I think. And they've got to pad it to be like this almost 3-hour musical. So there's a lot of, at least for me, there were a lot of points where I was yawning and I was like, all right, get to this story. And it's just very drawn out. I also will say, and I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority in this, I don't care for child actors. They're a tough sell for me. They always overact. They're kind of annoying to watch.
So you're not going to see Annie?
No. I would like to encourage Broadway shows to do the old school 90210 kind of thing and cast 30-year-olds for children. And I will just suspend my disbelief and believe that they're children because you say they are.
Yeah, I disagree with you. Surprise! But, I think that part of, especially MJ, what I love most about it were the child actors, like, who were part of Jackson 5. I loved it. And I thought this guy, he clearly wasn't as seasoned as the actors from MJ, but I'm amazed by child actors actually, especially on stage, that they have the capacity. Like I watch them the whole time, and see like that you can see in their mind that they're just in that moment, that they're not waiting for their lines like I would think an inexperienced young actor would be. They're like reacting to things and really in the moment. Especially this kid. So I really thought he was good. It was Julian Viella, I think was his name. I thought he held his own. I thought he did good. But I will say that Darnell Abram, who played Mufasa, was really good.
Mufasa did good.
Great voice, real deep, really good.
Zazu was fine. Very much like a Jar Jar Binks style Zazu, which is, mixed with John Oliver, which is fine.
Did you find when you were watching it, were you watching the puppets or the actors?
Back and forth. I go back and forth, yeah. But it was fine. It was a fine show. If you've got the money and you've got the time, go see it. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Now, you mentioned something, so I'm going to bring it up again. But I disagree that this is a fine show to take your children to. It is, if your child can be well behaved. But if your child is not well behaved, do not take your children. This isn't like, you know what I mean? If you want to break your kid into what it's like to see a show and be out in public and say like, okay, let's acclimate them to this, do it at the movies where the tickets are $10 or $14, but don't do it at a Broadway show where some people paid hundreds of dollars to go there. Like I can't imagine if we had paid for those tickets, what my reaction to that child in front of us would have been.
When I say it's family friendly, I mean that the show itself is family friendly. You're not going to get naked people on stage or people throwing the word fuck around. But yes, I will say
you said fuck around.
that my annoyance of the kids on stage carries over to the kids in the audience. I would much rather see a show with no kids in the building.
I mean, this particular show was bad. The kid in front of us was obnoxious.
Yes, it was very obnoxious.
Now, there were 4 kids in front of us, and only one of them was obnoxious. The other ones were okay. Although one girl kept like turning a flashlight on because she was bored. But the other one that was really bored, that was like all fidgety and was like getting on her mom's lap and then sitting down, and then at one point she just turned around.
Yeah,
I was like, the show's over there. Don't look at us.
Looked at you, and you're like, don't fucking look at me.
Anyway, and then so the most dramatic part of the show for me, it wasn't Mufasa's death.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it was coming, right? We've seen it. Spoiler alert. was about 2 minutes before they sing I Just Can't Wait to Be King, which is the song before intermission. That little person, the little girl who couldn't, I don't want to say little person.
Hakuna Matata, I think.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
It's Hakuna Matata. You're right. My bad. I
was like, I can't wait to be king. That was way
I
early.
remember Hakuna Matata because of what you said at intermission.
Oh.
And what it means. But no, this girl, like 2 minutes before Hakuna Matata said loudly, "Mommy, I gotta pee." And then you can see the dad look over because he was like, ugh. Yeah, I don't. They were in the middle too. They had to go. Everybody would have to stand up for them to get out. And the mother knew this, and she was like, "Okay, honey, we'll wait like a minute. I really have to pee. I have to pee." And I just kept thinking, like, I was like, "What's gonna happen first, intermission, or is this girl gonna pee in the seat right in front of me?" Like I couldn't. And then I felt like I saw the woman put something down and like whisper to the kid. No kidding. I thought, oh my God, this kid's gonna piss in the seat right here. Didn't happen. Kid made it to intermission. That was the most dramatic thing I think I saw that night.
The most dramatic part for me was adult Simba when he comes swinging out and he's got his nipples out. Those are some nice man titties.
Jesus Christ.
Favorite part of the show. As an attractive man.
As soon as we saw him in the meet and greet area, my brain said, Jeremy's going to like his nipples.
Yeah. He could Hakuna Matata any day.
That's exactly what it means.
It means, well, yes, we know what it means. Yeah, that's all I have for this week.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's not a very busy week, just pulling things out of closets. Like Simba.
Like yourself.
And myself. How was your week?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was my 4-year anniversary. My 4-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
April 25th. The most perfect date.
That's what I hear.
So it's nice. Do you know, this is weird because I'm a competitive person, right? We've discovered this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Dylan and I will each post about our 4-year anniversary on our Facebook pages. Mm-hmm. And then we'll spend the day monitoring who's more popular.
How many people liked it?
And that's stupid. He killed me in this one. Like, you're talking like he had a good 80 more reactions than I had.
He's also way more active on social media than you are.
That is true. Yeah, he's always networking. He's always on things.
Yeah.
But you know what? I made the mistake of, I thought by mentioning him like in the name, I was like Dylan Todd, and so I at Dylan Todd, and then I so did that. But when he posted it, he just said my husband. He said I'm with.
Oh,
and so
I see. Yeah.
I think more people got to see it. Ryan pointed that out later because Ryan's aware of this competition, and Ryan waits to see who he's going to react to or what he's going to comment on based on who needs it the most. And he's like, you need it the most.
He's like a real mom. Do you know how many friends Dylan has compared to?
No, I don't know. Pay any attention. I have a sizable amount. If
he's got like 500 more people on his Facebook than you do, then that would explain why he's creaming you in these competitions. But that's a good. Fifth year is right around the corner.
I feel like I used to win.
Yeah,
and now he wins.
Well,
maybe because he's nicer to people at garage sales.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All the people who are liking it are like, I saw him at the yard sale. He was so nice. Like, not that fella.
I'm going to like his because he gave me a 50% off at that yard sale. Not this other guy. He made me pay double because I asked. Asked me a question. So then we had dinner. We had dinner at my favorite ramen place in St. Pete. I can give him a shout out because it's delicious. Like, Booyah Ramen.
Booyah?
Yeah, and they have this braised short rib ramen. It's the best. It's incredible. And I usually order it, so I've never really sat there and ate it like in person. And it's so much better when it comes fresh. It's so good. So we did that, and then we went to this place called Sweet Divas, which is where we go every year on our anniversary for ice cream because that's where we went on our first date. And I'll tell you what, we went in there and it was real busy, so we didn't tell them why. Because usually we're like, this is where you came on our first date.
No, it's our anniversary. Yeah. Can we get free dessert?
So we never asked for free anything, right? But there were so many people in there that we just kind of got it and left. But as we circled back, we walked by and there was a sign outside that we didn't notice the first time that said that they make and sell Dubai chocolate.
Oh.
Now, we've had this conversation about
Yeah.
when I was in New York recently. And so we were like, what? We went immediately inside and we're like, do you have Dubai chocolate? And she said, we ran out. But, she's like, if you really want it, call and we'll put some aside for you. And I was like, oh, okay. So then nobody else was in there. And I was like, by the way, it's our anniversary and we come here on our first date. She was so excited
And
about
she was
that.
like, 2 men?
Way more.
Get out of here, queers.
Way more
No Dubai
excited.
chocolate for you.
She was way more excited about that than the person was about my work history at the Lion King. So that was pretty cool.
Really quick, I did a quick scan. You have about 1,000 people that you're friends with on Facebook, and Dylan has about 4,000. So
I only have 1,000?
that is why he
There's
is
no
killing
way.
you.
I have more than that.
I
must have did a
I
purge.
just looked. You must have purged.
I must have
we
done a
did.
purge.
Not long ago, you and I both did a purge on our Facebook.
I thought I had like 5,000. Like I thought I had the max.
No, it just said 1,000.
Are you sure it's not like 1,000 in common?
Unless I was looking at the wrong thing. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Dylan has 4,000 followers.
Well, this podcast hasn't upped my profile, has it? I bet I had 4,000 when we started doing the podcast, and now I only have 1,000.
Unless I'm looking, it says 4,000 followers. Is that the same thing as friends on Facebook?
It's different. Because you can be friends with people, but they have to click to follow you.
Oh, here we go. Friends. He has 3,417 friends.
All right.
You have.
Do 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 do
See.
do do
You
do.
and I have a lot of mutual friends. I got to scroll past those to get the total number. Oh, you have 1,000 friends. So yeah, he's got like 2,400 more friends than you. do.
Well, then all things considered,
Not bad.
per capita, I win.
Yeah.
Up your game, Dylan.
if you break that down by percentages, you blew him away.
Kayla just said she has 197 friends. She probably actually has 197 friends. The ironic thing about this is I have 2, but I do have 1,000 on Facebook, but I only have 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I have nowhere near as many real friends as I do on Facebook friends.
So the only other thing I did this weekend is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. We played. It was the last Sunday of softball. It went pretty well. I did right. I scored personally 3 times in one inning, almost before I got to third base. So I almost scored 4 times. It's crazy. It just means they put me in a run for people a lot. Burned a lot of calories. Needed to, because I've been drinking a lot of malts and eating a lot of ice cream lately. So I had to. So anyway, so that was on Sunday, but when I was driving back, I was driving from from St. Pete to Orlando, so that I could get to the softball games. And I was listening. I'm sure it's just a shock to everybody. I was listening to Air Supply,
Of course.
and I just said, you know what? That's it. Screw it. I'm doing it. I want to do it.
I'm
doing
joining the
it.
band.
You know, I'm gonna listen to Shia LaBeouf. I'm gonna just do it. So I got home and I bought a ticket to see them at Carnegie Hall next week or the week after. And then I messaged Dylan and I was like, bought the ticket. I guess we're going. So then we're going. We're going next week, which is really dumb considering all the things that I have to do. And then I forgot totally about the conference I'm going to the week after that you just told me about.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, so I'm not going to have time for any of this. Great.
You do know how you get to Carnegie Hall.
Practice.
Google Maps.
Can't
Practice ain't going to get you there to see them in
Can't
concert.
not tell that joke. People are like,
I don't know what you're talking
when I say Air
What
Supply
joke?
is playing at Carnegie Hall, people will go, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." You know how they got that? How they got there? And they're like, "No." I was like, "Practice."
I bet their manager paying somebody had something to do with it.
And
Probably
that
had to put a
joke
down
went
payment
over
on it.
as well as my tenure at the Link. Anyway, so that was my week.
Anyway,
That was exciting.
very nice, very nice. What an exciting week. What an exciting upcoming week. Carnegie Hall. and-
Oh, I'm doing something exciting this tomorrow.
Are you? What are you doing tomorrow?
Well, I'm taking you to lunch. No,
Oh, that is
that's not what I'm
exciting.
talking about. That's work. No, y'all are lovely, but it is a work function. I'm going to see Back to the Future at the Straz.
Oh, how lovely.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, Dylan's supposed to go with me. I don't know if that's going to happen. Anyway,
Very nice.
you have an exciting week coming up?
I have my yard sale on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's about it. May the 4th is on Sunday, so I'll probably do something Star Wars-y.
It sounds like a very nerdy thing.
It's Star Wars Day.
That's on Sunday, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Generally, I would take that as an opportunity to buy more Lego, but I'm trying to slow the roll because they do huge Lego releases for Star Wars Lego on May the 4th. So I'm trying to.
Well, that would be dumb to take all the money you earned selling your stuff to go buy another thing that you're going to sell next
Would
week.
it?
Hey, you do you, boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy a good
You
Lego.
do you, booyah.
So along with Lion Kings and Dubai chocolates and such, we found some time to watch a movie.
We sure did. Now, we had talked about doing the wedding banquet.
Yes.
Which I don't know if we're still talking about doing that next time. I
Possibly.
have yet to see it.
I haven't as either.
And if we don't see it this week, we're probably not going to get to it until it's off streaming. I would encourage us to do so. But, so we were looking for a film, and we decided to do a retro.
Yes, 10 years ago.
When there's nothing new to watch, we do a retro.
Indeed. 10 years ago, a nice film came out that I realized, and you realized when we were talking about it, neither one of us had seen, which is kind of surprising because it was nominated for a bunch of Oscars.
Yeah.
Carol. So the first thing I will say about this film is right off the bat, when you start it up, it says a Weinstein Company film. Made me very uncomfortable.
My first note is well, actually, my first note was I didn't know that's how you spell Kate Blanchett.
Oh,
C-A-T.
with a C, yeah.
But then I was like,
Somebody didn't listen to the Ariana DeBose song.
the Weinstein, the Weinstein Company. Yeah, I wrote that down.
Ugh. I didn't know if I should turn it off at that point, but then I was like, no, I will power through.
I mean, now I'm sure this is not appropriate, but this is what my brain does when I'm watching a movie and it says the Weinstein Company on it, is that then I start seeing the names pop up and I'm wondering,
Did you know?
well, no, or what did they have to suffer through to get this part? You know, I wonder, that's what I wonder. Like, what did he do to this person or what did he do in front of this person?
Now, I will say at this point, which would have been 2015, there was already rumblings. That's when people were doing investigations on him. They were starting to happen. Ronan Farrow was already looking into him. So I wonder how much of that he had pulled back on when he saw people were looking. So it'd be interesting. If you ever chat with Kate Blanchett, it would be interesting to find out what the mindset
Kate,
on set
give me a call. I'm just curious.
Was during that.
So, so then the other thing I do is because I hear that he was like a hit maker, and I know it was nominated for some things, but then I watched the movie with the lens of judging how good he was at his job. Like I expect to see something spectacular.
Yeah.
So those are the two things I was thinking about the whole time. How about you?
All right. I was thinking about the movie Carol. So Carol is directed by Todd Haynes, who recently directed May December. Did you watch that? It was like last year or 2 years ago. The one with Julianne Moore where she's married to the guy who she went to jail because she fucked him when he was her student. And then Natalie Portman's the actress playing her in the movie about her.
No.
It's on Netflix. You should check it out. The guy who's now her husband, who was in middle school when they were doing it, and she ended up going to jail. She gets out of jail. This is loosely based off of a true story. She got out of jail, and they ended up getting married. Anyway, he's kind of hot, and he gets naked.
If it's a true story, then it took place in Florida?
Roughly based on a true story. No.
That's the part that's rough.
The actual story of it is, I don't know where it's based out of. But he also directed Far From Heaven. You remember that movie? That's a gay movie.
I do. I did see that one. Julianne Moore was in it.
Yeah, Julianne Moore and Dennis Quaid. Is that who was in it? Who played her husband in that? Was it Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid.
Okay. And then he also directed in the 90s Velvet Goldmine. Have you ever seen that? It's got Hugh McGregor and Christian Bale. And Hugh McGregor plays a bisexual David Bowie type performer. Again, loosely based. He takes these ideas from real life and then, creates these fictional stories.
Ripped from the headlines.
Yeah. But
Does he also write for Law and Order?
Ewan McGregor and Christian Bale have a really hot, steamy sex scene in it, and they both get naked. Maybe we should talk about that movie coming up.
I was going to say, I'm going to need to know more about this movie.
It's a good movie. But Carol is based
Christian
off a novel.
Bale, good-looking guy.
Particularly back then, they were
Yeah,
both
back
they were both very hot.
Swing Kids. Did you ever see that?
No.
That's the first movie I saw Christian Bale in.
First movie I ever saw him in was Newsies.
Oh, I don't remember seeing him in that. But it's got the guy Robert Sean Leonard. Is that his name? He was in Dead Poets Society. He was like the lead in Dead Poets Society, and he was also in a show about he was in House. He played the friends. Anyway, the two of them, and it's about growing up in Germany and being forced into Hitler's youth program, and really good movie.
Yeah, Velvet Goldmine's a little different, but kind of the same. So Carol's based off of a novel called The Price of Salt by Patricia Highsmith.
That makes so much sense now. That was based on a novel.
It's the same author who wrote Strangers on a Train and The Talented Mr. Ripley.
It's all coming into focus.
It's all kind of the same. Now, we mentioned that this was nominated for Oscars. I thought this was kind of an interesting little tidbit. The year it came out, it got nominated for 5 Golden Globes, 6 Oscars, 9 BAFTAs, and 9 Critics' Choice Awards.
Didn't win one of them.
Didn't win a single one of them. That was the same year that Spotlight, The Revenant, The Martian, Mad Max Fury Road came out. So those
Spotlight
films
was
were
really good.
Yeah, really, really good. That won Best Picture that year. So they were snatching up all the awards, but Carol went to the parties, just didn't win any of them. So, but it stars Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara, who played Carol, and Therese.
Rooney Mara has been in a lot of really good movies.
She was in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. She was in Lion, which I never saw, but I
was
really
good.
want to see that movie.
That's
the one
good
where
movie.
the kids got separated.
No, that's the one. Well, the one gets on a train and then gets adopted
and
by,
he gets adopted and he goes back to find his
Nicole
family.
Kidman.
And it's a true story.
Yes.
And it's like, oh God, I will love that movie.
It's so good.
I have to go see it.
Very
I have to go
good
back
movie.
and see it. And then she was in Her. Was she the Her in Her?
She was not. Scarlett Johansson was the voice of her, but Rooney Mara was his love interest or had an infatuation with him.
I don't really recognize her in this movie, but this movie had a lot of people in it that are famous.
Yeah.
But who weren't then, but kind of are now. Well, this guy. I don't know if this guy was. Friday Night Lights came out before.
Yeah,
this,
right? Kyle Chandler plays Carol's husband.
Yeah, really nice guy.
He was pretty well known. Yeah.
Really nice guy in this movie.
In real life, he seems like a nice guy. In this, not so much.
And this guy, this guy who plays Richard, who is Rooney Mara's boyfriend who wants to marry her, is Jack Lacey. Do you recognize him?
He looks familiar, but I couldn't place him.
I can't tell you what season, but I was like, this guy has played a rich asshole in something I've seen. And yeah, The White Lotus.
Oh, yes. Season 2.
Yeah.
And
then...
season
or
1.
maybe it might have been season 1.
Yeah, because he's the one him and his newlywed wife.
Yes.
And he's complaining about, my mommy called and we were supposed to have the Florentine room.
Yes. And then she shows up, right? And then he invites his mom.
What a dick.
Yeah. And then this guy, John Magaro.
Unlike James Theo in season 2. What a dick.
John Margaro, I guess. He was in Past Lives. He was the male lead in Past Lives.
Who did he play in this?
He was the guy that worked for the New York Times.
Oh, Donnie.
Who helped her. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, a lot
New
of...
York Times. Oh, Danny. New York Times Danny.
Yeah.
So lots of good up and comers.
Yeah. And with all of that, my next note was, this looks incredibly boring.
It is definitely, it's a slow burn, kind of heavy drama, emphasis on the drama.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this, and if you had told me, so you were giving me some options, and I don't want to say what the options were because I don't want to offend anybody who's affiliated with these other films.
Sure.
which is weird because I really don't mind offending people all the time on this podcast. But I was like, no, I don't want to watch this movie. No, we'll watch anything else. And then Carol came up. I was like, yeah, let's do that. Now, if you had told me that Carol took place when Taft was president, I would have said no way.
I don't think Taft was president.
There was a thing about
Eisenhower would have been, because it's the early 50s.
It wasn't Eisenhower. Yes, it was Eisenhower was giving a speech because there was some election going on. I just remember on the radio, I thought they were talking about Taft dying on the radio.
I don't know when
scenes.
Taft died.
Well, he died when he was president.
Did he? Well, then it was not.
Because he got stuck in the bathtub and he died because he was big.
Is that a true story?
100%. 100%.
Google that.
All right.
But no, this movie takes place in the early 50s. So it would have been when Eisenhower was president.
Did Taft die in his bathtub? It pops right. Oh, he didn't die in his bathtub. The story of him getting stuck is a myth. But hey, you know what? It stuck with me. So,
I was gonna say that's a terrible way to die. Him in the bathtub, Mama Cass eating a ham sandwich on the toilet. Got to stay out of bathrooms.
I guess people were making fun of him just because he was big.
Aw, poor fella. How big was the Taft?
Probably. Didn't we look this up? I thought you looked it up at one point.
Oh, I think we did.
We realized that we were both heavier than Taft was, and everybody calls him the fat president.
No, I think that I am the same size as Taft.
It says Taft was a big man standing about 6 feet tall and weighing more than 300 pounds while he was in.
Yeah, I'm the same size as Taft. You want to see what Taft looked like? This is what Taft looked like.
Well, when you're 6 feet tall, though, 340 pounds goes a long way.
Yeah.
If I weighed
I'm a little less than Taft then.
If I weighed 340, it'd be a different scenario.
I was the same size as Taft when I started Ozempic. Thanks, Ozempic. I'm no longer as big as a Taft. So the movie takes place in the early 50s. Therese and her boyfriend Richard work at Frankenberg's, which is a fictional...
Was it really the 50s? I get this whole impression.
1952
based on
exact.
the music. I mean, because I've listened to 50s music. This must have been early 50s. Because
1952.
It just doesn't, I mean, like really... like 1951.
The Christmas season. The Christmas season of 1952.
Anyway, because the music that was on the radio and the things they were playing, it wasn't like what you think of 50s music. I was expecting Run Around Sue or something like that, but it was just this like really old, like you would say like, oh, let's play this record. No, they were playing like things on a phonogram or whatever you call those things back then. It was so old.
They had a record player. Did we watch the same movie?
Wouldn't it be hilarious
when she's hanging out at her house? It's just a regular record
but it looked
player.
like, I mean, it felt like the type of music they were playing. They had to wind it up and have that big cone
like there was
coming
no
out.
electricity.
I will tell you this though, Kate Blanchett was stunning. She
gorgeous in this,
beautiful in this movie, and that I'll hang on to.
Yeah. So Carol ends up going to the department store that Therese works at.
Who I made
toy
all
department.
of my notes and refer to her as Tourette's for the whole thing.
Tourette's? All right. Better than Teresa, because they make mention in the movie, don't call her Teresa. Yeah. But Richard calls her Terry, so we'll just call her Terry from now on. Terry helps Carol get a gift for her daughter. They're very flirty with each other. Carol leaves her address with Terry.
I would say one thing they do really well in this movie is it confuses the shit out of me right off the bat. I didn't realize, because the very first scene is not the scene at the thing.
No,
it's them at a restaurant.
It opens with a scene that actually takes place at the end of the movie.
Right, and I did not notice that. It would just seem like a seamless move from that to the other thing.
You didn't see the part when that scene happened and then they cut to the next scene and at the bottom it says Christmas time 1952. I
was way too busy thinking about how they had to wind up that record player to get to play out of this big cornucopia.
So she
Maybe
leaves.
I fell asleep during that part. I did. I wasn't laying on my bed after playing 2 softball games in the heat, so I may have missed the slight details, but I thought it was cool. When I realized it, it made me really like the movie. At the end. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
So it goes back to when they first met. Carol leaves her address with Terry.
So you missed the part where they explained to you exactly what was supposed to be happening.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Sorry to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
So she can ship the train set. Carol happens to forget her gloves on the counter, so that Terry has to mail them back to her.
Total lesbian move.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I forgot my gloves. And she's like, well, I have your address. I mailed your child her train, and I will send you your gloves. And to thank her, as any good, upstanding housewife would do, she called the toy store lady and said, hey, can I take you to lunch as a thank you for sending my gloves back?
I do find this interesting. She wants to get her kid a doll. They don't have the doll anymore because she waited until the last minute.
Yes.
Guess what? They're at a Cabbage Patch Kids. So we can't get it for you. So she goes, what would you get what did you want and you were for?
Yeah.
And she said, I wanted a train.
Yep, lesbian coded.
Right. So
She's trying to figure out if she goes, do you want a kitchen set or do you want a train?
Yeah, I want a train with the word U-Haul on the side. Now, so it's very presumptive then. Not presumptive. It just seemed odd to me that this very wealthy woman who was raising this child with a nanny and a rich whatever was like, oh, that's a great idea. My daughter can't have this doll that she really wants, so let's get her a train. Like, it just didn't connect to me.
Yeah. I don't think it was about the train or the doll. I think it was about getting that chick.
But the mother legit got her daughter the train.
She did. Because I don't think she cared. She's like,
Did you
get her
ever
the train.
see the kid play with the train? I didn't want to fall asleep during that important
I
moment.
saw Kate Blanchett playing with the train.
Mm-hmm. I started playing with everything.
But no, I did not see the kid playing with the train. I did because they cut to a scene where Terry is hanging out with her boyfriend Richard and Danny and then Danny's kid brother. I did notice that Danny is a dick to his kid brother.
Yeah.
And so they're watching a movie from the projection booth at a theater because I guess one of them works in the theater. And his kid brother says something about the film and he's like, my kid brother, the film jerk. And I was like, what an asshole. And like 2 seconds later, he says something kind of like giving Terry some advice. And he goes, my kid brother, the jerk philosopher here. And I was like, why are you such an asshole, Danny?
Yeah. Do you know what confused me? Because they, like in that first scene, this is what confused me. Because they said they were going to a party in the first scene. And then it goes back in time. But then like she goes to a party with those people and they all get wasted. So that's why I thought the timeline was continuous.
I gotcha.
So did you recognize how like wasted Richard got? Like he was wasted.
Like he was a little drunk.
He was falling over pushing this bike. And I thought, don't get on that bike. You can get a DUI on a bike.
Not in the 50s.
Oh, that's true. I remember in the 80s in Texas. Was back then. In Texas in the 80s, like, you know, people would just you could hit somebody, vehicular manslaughter, and they give you a ticket.
Yeah.
And say next time don't drive drunk.
Oh, no more.
Not anymore.
We meet Harge, who is Kyle Chandler. He's Carol's husband. They are going through a divorce. They have the little girl together. Are you laughing at Harge? Is that what you're laughing at?
No, I'm sorry. I read my notes and I start laughing, and I'm like, Carol seems rich and boring, and that made me laugh. And then it made me laugh that I wrote this down too. Maybe I should give out Santa hats for Christmas, and that's it. Because when everybody was going into work at the department store, the security guard was handing out hats.
Oh yeah, because they have to wear. It's Christmas time.
I was very impressed with him because he said, he goes, compliments of management, Merry Christmas, and he was saying that to every single person. He never didn't skip a person, and he was handing them out fast, and he said that every time. So expect that during the holiday party. Compliments of management, Merry Christmas, and it's just gonna be a hat.
Jeremy won't know.
Sweet.
He won't know.
So Carol calls Terry to thank her for sending the gloves back and invites her to lunch. Terry's boss is in the back being kind of a bitch. Like, you know, this lady called. She was like, you know, a customer. She said, I'd like to talk to Terry. And then she's like, ugh, Terry. And then she gets on the phone and she's like huffing and puffing that she's on the phone. I was like, girl, go to work.
Look, here's the thing. Back in those days, like phones weren't everywhere. Right?
Yep.
So there was one phone on the floor. And when that phone rings, it was this person's job to answer the phone. You wanted that job. You were the manager, and the manager answers that phone. So don't act like it's it's a nuisance for you to answer the phone and have to deal with whatever happens on the phone.
Yeah. How about you go deal with the
Answer
floor?
the phone, hand the phone off to who it's for, because that's what you're there to do, and then shut up.
Yeah. Just walk away. Not your call. Diane. I'm assuming her name was Diane.
Do you have pen and paper? You know what? That little girl at the Lion King grows up to be that woman.
Yeah. Horrible. So they go to lunch, and I was immediately put off by, first, the amount of smoking they do. Like, they
So much
change smoking. But I read something interesting throughout the movie. Both of them only smoke when they're in like hiding or like things aren't going well. When they're together and happy, when they're on the road and they're in the hotel or the restaurants, neither one of them smoke. So like the smoking is supposed to symbolize the chaos that they're going through.
Do you know what I found interesting about the smoking? You used to smoke, right?
I sure did.
Didn't the paper seem to like burn fast?
Back then?
No, well, in the movie, like it seemed like the cigarettes they were smoking, like they were loosely packed and it was burning faster.
I did notice I really liked Carol's cigarette case.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a nice
There's
cigarette
like
case.
everything that she did I like. I mean,
Yeah.
well, I won't
She
say
was a
everything she did.
classy lady.
She was very classy.
If I was a lady and in the 1950s, I'd want to be Carol.
Yeah. I'd want to be, but I'd probably be the one that's upstairs peeking through the little window to watch a movie. They did a good job about the dichotomy between the two. Like
Yeah.
there was definitely a wealth barrier between them.
Yeah. So Carol orders her lunch, and then Terry's like, "Oh, I'll just have the same thing." And I wrote the order down because I was like, that does not sound like an appetizing lunch. But they got cream spinach, poached eggs, and a dry martini with an olive. Like that all just seems like way like those flavors don't all go together.
I like all the things involved.
Well,
I mean, I just don't know. I agree with you. I don't know if they go together. I wouldn't want to eat a poached egg with anything creamy.
yeah, it
That just seems
didn't
weird.
sound appetizing. So this is the lunch we learn. Carol's going through in the middle of divorce, and Terry is seeing Richard, who wants to marry her, but she's not ready for marriage and doesn't know if she loves him. And in the course of this, Carol is like, just I fucking Terry. She's just like, what do you do on Sundays, Terry? And she's like, I don't do anything. She goes, me neither. Why don't you come over to my house? And she's like, you'll love it. There's lots of beautiful country out there. And then I looked it up. She lives in New Jersey. I've never been to New Jersey, but I don't think New Jersey is known for its countryside.
Well, I think in the 1950s,
Maybe back then.
maybe in the 50s, and they're super rich, so they probably found it, right?
Yeah, I just
we
thought it
only
was
know the
weird.
industrial parts
The
because
way
we're
that
poor.
she talked about it, like they were out in like the countryside in upstate New York, and she's like, I'm in New Jersey. And I was like, I don't know what kind of country that is. So Terry says, yes, I would love to come out to your country house in New Jersey. And they also, not just at this lunch, but throughout the whole movie, they just talk very weird to each other. Like their dialect and their like the way they talk with each other is just very awkward. I don't know if it's because it's the 50s or because they're lesbians. I don't know, who can say? But it's very weird the way they talk with each other.
Yeah.
It's kind of off.
Well, and you know what? I will say this too. They mention somewhere in the beginning when they're after when the guy's really drunk with the bike and the guy's being mean to his brother, he says something about maybe I should report you to the House Un-American Act or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the House Un-American Congress or committee. And so then I was like, oh, I get it. This is the same
the
time
fellow
as the fellow
traveler time, yeah.
travelers. Got it. And so they probably talk like that because they're just talking in
I couldn't
code.
tell if it was sort of like a code talk or if it's just like a weird dialect like they talked back in the 50s. It was just very weird, the conversation. Also, and throughout the course of the movie, they end up falling in love and like, we love each other. All I kept thinking through this whole movie is every time they're together, they look like they have awkward conversations. And I don't know how you can sustain a relationship where you just seem odd.
You would be in hell if this was your relationship.
Oh, yeah. They're just so many awkward pauses, and they're just like...
But then at the end of the movie, well, not the end, but at some point during like this thing, and they're talking about how like she's the only one who could see me and could open up to. And
Yeah.
I was like, but you never showed that.
You didn't open up to her.
It might have been more interesting.
I feel like you opened up more to Richard than you opened up to her.
Right, because she did yell at Richard.
Yeah, they had a couple of good fights in this.
Yeah.
Speaking of lesbians, we meet Sarah Paulson.
Oh my God, I wrote, yay, the lesbians in this.
So she plays
forgot her name
Abby,
at
who is
first.
Carol's best friend. They met when she was 10. They both were 10. It's not like Carol was in her 40s. She's like, come with me, little 10-year-old. But they grew up together. You find out in the movie that they had kind of a little bit of a romantic relationship that just kind of fizzled out. Abby takes Carol to Harge's party because he's having a party. And he's like, I know we're going through divorce, but I'd really like it if you came to the party with me. So while she's doing that, Terry goes with Danny to see his office at the New York Times. He kisses her. She doesn't like it. She gets uncomfortable. Apparently Carol's in the room because she's also like, no, what to say? And then she leaves. So Danny, which is weird
I gotta
because
like these-
Richard is your friend, and now you're kissing what you think is his future
Wow,
wife.
and Danny didn't give a shit.
No.
He was like, all right, fine, moving on.
Yeah.
Went found him somebody else.
The whole holiday, the way it's set up is Harge is going to take their daughter on Christmas to go to his parents so she can spend Christmas with the grandparents, and Carol's going to keep the daughter for like Christmas Eve. For the Christmas holiday, she's like, hey, why don't you, come stay with me in the country? And they'll spend time before, Harge comes and takes the kid. So Carol picks her up. They go to the country house. They're having a good time listening to records. And Harge shows up early. And he's like,
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm going to take the kid now because they want to see their granddaughter. Plus, you should come with me because
And
you're
he had
my
a lot.
wife. Yeah, he had been drinking a little bit.
He got a little belligerent.
Yeah. So he comes in and he sees Terry there, and he's like,
Who's your whore?
what kind of lesbian shit's going on in this house? So they have a fight. He takes the baby. She's like 7 or 8, puts her in the car. And he's like, get in the car, Carol. Like, did you not just see I have a chick in the house? I can't just leave her there.
Right.
And he's like, she's like, I'm not getting in there. And then I couldn't
Pose
tell
before
if he
bros.
tripped and fell because he was drinking or if she pushed him over. But he fell.
She pushed him. It was a
pushed him.
combo.
So he fell down, and she's like, I'm not going with you. So she goes to buckle in her daughter to let her drunk ex-husband take her to his parents' house, which I wouldn't let him
Well,
in
they
the car.
had a driver.
Was there a driver? I
Yeah.
thought he got in the driver's
Nah,
seat.
there's a driver. He got in the back seat with
Oh,
the
well,
daughter.
well, at least they're planned properly. They got an Uber or something.
I mean, don't take my word for it, though, because, I didn't realize that they went back in time.
That's true. That's true.
What do I know?
So she did say something that I thought was kind of sweet when she was explaining why she wasn't going with them and why her and daddy didn't live together anymore. And she said, sometimes there just isn't enough space in the same place for mommy and daddy. And I thought that was kind of a good way, cool way to kind of explain why I'm not going with you.
Your
and
dad's
mommy's gonna,
fat. That's why.
Yeah, your dad sucks and mommy's got a lady in there she's got to go attend to.
But there's plenty of space for mommy and the ladies.
So
Mommy and the Ladies. That sounds like a great band name, doesn't it?
it does.
Oh, the Go-Go's really missed out on an opportunity.
So because of all the drama that happened, Carol's like, I'm just going to take Terry to the train station and send her back. And she ends up calling and apologizing. And she's like, I want to see you again.
Does that a lot.
Yeah, does a lot of apologizing.
A lot of apologizing.
And here's where the story starts to pick up, for me at least. Carol goes to meet with her divorce attorney, and she finds out that Harge is filing for sole custody for his daughter on a morality clause, saying she's an unfit mother. She's an unfit mother because she likes the ladies.
Yeah, I mean that's putting it in context. That's a scary thing.
Yeah,
she knows she's going to lose her kid over this, and so she's really upset about it. And the lawyer is like, we're going to fight it, but there is this stuff. Not once did she ever say that it wasn't true, or you got to give her that.
Yeah, and
a
the
very
worst
strong
part
woman.
is, she's like, well, when can I see my daughter again? And he says one, they go to trial because while this morality clause is being reviewed, she can't be alone with her daughter. So this puts Carol in a bad
and it was going to be like 4 months.
Yeah. It was going to be a couple of months before
Yeah.
the trial. So it puts her in a bad headspace. So she decides, I just need to get out of town. I'm going to drive to Chicago. And she asks Terry to go with her. And Terry says, sure, why not? I have a boyfriend who's going to propose to me and keeps bugging me to go to France with him, but I'm going to tell him to fuck himself, and I'm going to go with you.
So I don't know how long it takes to drive from New York to Chicago, but it seemed to take a long time.
I feel like they only drove a couple hours each day and then
they're
stopped
like,
and got a hotel.
I'm
They're
so
like,
exhausted.
oh, should we get a hotel together? Oh, yeah. We should also mention before they go on this trip, Carol buys her this really big, expensive camera because she's a wannabe photographer.
That's not a red flag, is it? Oh, I've
Aspiring
known you for a
photographer.
week. I've already invited you to my house several times. I'm inviting you on this long trip, and I just bought you the newest, most expensive camera there is in the land.
That's probably thousands of dollars for the camera comes in a big case. It's filled with film, and that's got to be super expensive.
And Terry's like, I bought you this record for $1.99.
Oh yeah, she's like, I got you something. Sorry, I'm poor. But
13-hour drive, but it took him 13 days.
So they get on the road and they stop at a hotel, and Carol's showering, and she asked Terry to get her blue sweater out of a suitcase, and when she does, she sees she's got a gun there.
Yeah.
So foreshadowing, the gun will come into play later.
Now, did you? Okay. Yeah, it'll come into play later. Question.
Yeah.
Did the gun have bullets in it, and did she take them out?
No.
Or they just never
As
did?
I understand it, later in the film, because you don't see her take them out, I assume she's just carrying an unloaded gun with her just to intimidate people. So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming. I didn't see her take any bullets at it all through the movie.
Then why pull the trigger?
I don't know, to make him piss his pants. I don't know.
If he did, that would have been great.
So while they're traveling, they meet this guy who's also heading to Chicago. Seems like a nice guy. He's sitting with them at breakfast, and they're hitting it off. And he's like, well, gee golly, swell. You girls sure are pretty. And he's just very friendly to her.
I will say this, though. Unless your names are Thelma and Louise, don't tell a guy where you're going.
Yeah.
Because he never at one point said where he was going. They said they were going to Chicago, and he's like, "Oh, that's where I'm heading. See, we're gonna."
So that night, it's New Year's Eve. They get another hotel room, and one thing leads to another.
Oh yeah, New Year's Eve
the
equals
kissy
lady
nipples
love.
out scene. And they do it. They bone. They bang.
She bang. She bang.
So the next day, it had to have been a few days later because I don't think it was the same hotel. Plus, it would take time for the telegram to get there. But the guy,
Don't trust my timeline.
Yeah.
But it was the next morning.
was it?
Same hotel next morning.
No, because they were in a high-rise
They
hotel.
only did it that once.
Yeah, but the next morning,
No, he had the recording of them.
he had
Doing
already
it.
sent it. He had already sent it to her husband, and he had it, and sent the telegram to her. They did that all in a morning?
Yeah.
No.
100%.
I'm going to Google this because the timing doesn't equal up.
No, he did it in the morning, and then he was going home to pack up, and then she got the telegram, and it was like, oh my God.
I don't think telegrams went that fast back then.
He just emailed it.
I don't think they had that back in
He text-
1952 Christmas time.
They Snapchatted.
Anyway, regardless of the time frame, Carol gets a telegram that says, I have evidence that you were having sex with your little lady friend, and I had a private investigator tailing you. And it turns out it's the same guy. So she goes barging into the room next door, and he's got all his recording equipment, and she's got her gun in his face, and she's like, you recorded me having sex with my girlfriend.
I'm going to shoot you. Click,
And
click, click.
he's like, just my job, ma'am. And then we see that her gun is empty. And so they end up going to the next hotel, and they hold each other for the night. And when Terry wakes up, Carol is gone. She went back to New York.
There's Sarah Paulson.
And there's Abby smoking her
Abby
cigarette.
just
sitting on a chair by the window.
Wake up, you pull of trash.
And she gives her a letter from Carol that says, I'm sorry, you'll understand this someday, blah, 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 blah. I had to go back and try to fix this so that I can see my daughter. So Abby takes Terry back home. This was the weird scene. Terry then calls Carol, and she picks up the phone, and she's like, hello. Terry says to Carol, hello. Carol doesn't say anything, but she's like breathing and like looking like she's about to make out with the receiver. And then they cut to the actual base of the phone, and she's like rubbing the switch hook on the phone like it's a nipple. It's all very uncomfortable.
She was the giver, and she had the receiver.
Yeah. It was all very uncomfortable.
Here's what this was. This is what this was. Exactly what this was. This was their Francesca Johnson moment. This was the scene right out of Bridges in Madison County. This movie is Bridges in Madison County for lesbians. And it's that scene at the end of Bridges in Madison County when Francesca Johnson is now in the car with her husband. He's come back, and she's in the passenger seat, and her hand is hovering over the door handle because she sees Robert Kincaid behind her in his pickup truck. And she's like, if I get out of this car right now, I can just go there and be with him, and I'll be happy, or I can stay here with my husband in this life that he's built. And it's that struggle. And that's what she was doing. That was her Francesca Johnson moment. She's struggling.
Did Francesca tweak the gear shift like it was a nipple?
She went like,
because she's like tweak.
I mean, I cannot pretend to think like Carol, but I'm just going to say that she was probably tormented and fidgeting with it while she was deciding whether to hang up or say something.
I don't know. There's a big difference between fidgeting and tweaking a nipple.
You just took the worst moment of this woman's life and turned it into a Tune in Tokyo.
Anyway, so Carol starts seeing a psychotherapist.
Tune in Tokyo. That's from a movie.
I don't know.
Where the guy's playing with somebody's nipples. Anyway.
Porn, maybe?
No. It's a movie. It's like a movie from the 80s. I'll find it. I'm gonna look it up.
So Carol starts seeing a psychotherapist, and so that she can, show that she is no longer a sick deviant, and she can be with her daughter again. So there's a scene where Carol and Harge, they're with their lawyers, and Carol just has this breakthrough where she's like, listen, I don't want to put our daughter through this. There was a time when we cared about each other, and we're not the kind of people who do this kind of thing. So she says, let Harge have full custody, and she just wants visitation rights.
What a great scene.
And
that was her Oscar nomination scene right there.
She takes ownership of the situation and says, listen, we're doing this for the betterment of our daughter, and this is what's best for her.
Here's what was so great about that scene, right? Picture it. New York, 1950s, all this stuff going on. You can lose everything if they find out that you're queer, all this kind of stuff. And she just stands up in that room full of lawyers, and she just says, I am not going to apologize for who I am, and I'm not going to deny who I am or the feelings that I have for the people that I've been with. That aside, don't destroy your daughter's life. And so very, very strong, intense.
Yeah.
Woman. I mean, I love strong women in movies and in Broadway shows and all this, and that's about as strong as you get.
Very, very strong. Very, very. She takes ownership of everything. Yeah. So Carol sends a letter to Therese and asks her to meet her for coffee, and that's the scene that we saw at the beginning, where the coffee is at that's the right scene, where she's telling her, listen, we sold our house in Jersey's countryside, and I've moved to the city. I got a job. I have an apartment on the Upper East Side, I think she said. And she says, I would really like it if you came and lived with me. And she's like, no. And Carol's like, all right. Well, if you change your mind, I'll be at this restaurant tonight. It would be really nice if you came. And then she mouths to her, I love you. And that's when her friend comes up and says, oh, hey, Terry, I haven't seen in a while. And they leave and go to a party, and Carol goes to her dinner.
So I just want to say, right here, from the speech with the lawyers to this point, I'm like, I think I've said this to you before. I feel like any show that I watch, no matter what I think of it up to a certain point, in the last 5 minutes, depending on what happens in the last 5 minutes of a movie, it can completely change the whole experience for me. And if I've hated the movie for an hour and 45 minutes, for 5 minutes I could love it, and that'll make its grape rating go up 2 points. And this happened in this movie. Like, to this point, I was like, wow, this got really fascinating, because you're like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then, I've already related it to the Bridges of Madison County, so I'm expecting this is what happens. This is the end. And then she goes and does her newspaper life, and this girl does whatever. Like, that could have ended right there, and good. But it didn't.
But it did not. So Terry goes to this party, and it's packed. There's people everywhere. Her ex, Richard, is there, dancing with another girl. She chats with another girl. Full house, but somehow feels very alone, just kind of wandering this party. And she decides that it's not the party she wants to be at. She wants to be at the restaurant with Carol. So
see, she goes to the restaurant.
She makes a mad dash to the restaurant.
And she stands there, and she looks around, and then she sees Carol sitting at a table with the people that she said she was going to be there with, but she doesn't move right away. So you're sitting there thinking, and this is really good movie making, I think, because you still don't know what's going to happen. Is she going to see her and say, you know what, no, and then leave? Or is she going to walk up to her? So there's a good, 15 seconds of her standing there, and you're like, what's going to happen? I liked it.
And they meet eyes, and
she walks over there, right?
Well, not up to the table. She walks up a little bit in the restaurant.
Up a little bit. So as she starts to move
eyes, there, and then they both slight smile, we'll say, not full on smile, but like a little smirk, and then roll the credits.
Yeah, I thought it ended great.
Yeah,
gotta say, I didn't think that they were gonna reconcile that relationship. So I was just kind of like, oh, it was very Bridges of Madison County. And then when she walked in there, it's like, I didn't know if she was going to. When she started making her way to the table, I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
This is looking good. And then she gave a little smirk.
As much of a happy ending as you could get from a 1950s gay movie.
Yeah.
So that's it. I dug it. I thought it was a good movie.
What do you grape it?
I will give it 3.5 grapes.
Oh, that's very generous.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. I'm going to say it was good. I'll give it 3.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. It's a slow burn.
It is.
It's a very slow burn.
You have to really be, you have to be awake and ready for a movie, because it is the type of movie that'll put you to sleep. And you've got to be into those kind of slow burn talky movies. Like, there's not a lot of action that happens. It's a lot of talking.
And a lot of not talking.
And a lot of, but yeah, I thought it was a really good movie.
I think it was, and I was highly impressed. I think I told you when we were talking about watching this that I didn't see it because I'm not a fan. I don't watch a lot of Kate Blanchett movies.
I don't understand that.
And I don't understand that now, because I thought she was really good in this.
I love Kate Blanchett.
I did see her when she played Katharine Hepburn in a movie.
The Aviator.
Yeah, and she was really good in that.
Yeah, she won an Oscar for that one.
So I should probably go back and watch all of her movies.
Yeah.
Because she's really good.
Stay away from Borderlands. Don't watch that one.
What do you think Rotten Tomatoes was?
Oh, this is definitely the type of movies that critics adore. So I'm going to say 93% for critics, and I'm going to say audiences 84%.
94 critics, 75 audiences.
Really?
So I went to look, and this is funny. I thought this was funny because it really makes no sense. This is one of the reviews, because I like to look at who hated it and why. Yeah. Good, awful, empty, dumbed down, supposedly groundbreaking, and ugly to look at and listen to. Everything and everyone is just a bad prop. Why does it say good, awful? It's not good, comma, awful. It's just good, awful. But I don't know.
It
good,
sounds
awful.
like somebody had their definition cards from their school project, and it dropped. And that the way it fell, they're like, that's a good review. We'll write that one down.
What do they mean dumbed down? I don't think it was dumbed down at all.
I will say the writing of that review sounds dumbed down.
Right. supposedly groundbreaking and ugly to look at. There was
What's
nothing
the name
ugly.
of that person? Tell me now.
I don't know. I didn't write that name
you don't have
down.
it pulled
No.
up? Oh.
No, I'm reading off. I'm old school. I print it out on paper. Hey, if I didn't do paper, we wouldn't have jobs. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's all I got. It was good. It's worth the watch.
It's worth a watch. Check it out.
You know, if you can't make it out to see the wedding banquet and you're like, hey, I should do something queer, you can watch Carol like we did.
Yeah. If you got Netflix. I wouldn't say if you don't have Netflix, this is a movie worth getting Netflix to watch. But if you already have it, definitely check it out.
If you don't have Netflix, but you got a friend who does, and they're like, hey, remind me what your password was again so I can log in and watch this, it's worth it.
If you have Netflix and you want to do a double feature, then watch this and then watch May December which is also on Netflix. That was a Netflix movie. And that one, there's full frontal male nudity on it. So it's a good watch.
What is more entertaining as far as being slow goes? So this was a slow movie.
Yeah.
Is May December a slow movie?
Not this slow.
Okay.
This May December has a little more going on with that one, but it's. I mean, all Todd Haynes films are very slow moving and talky. It's all about the script and the dialogue.
All right.
You saw Far From Heaven, same way. I mean, there's some action in it, but it's it's mostly a talkie. But yeah, Charles Melton. He's the one who gets naked in it. He's kind of hot. So check it out. But we'll check stuff out. And then
We
be
will.
back
We'll
next
watch something else.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week to talk about it. And until then, the cork is back in the bottle.